Kelsey, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for joining me. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm good, bro. Can't complain. Glad we could get this thing in motion. I had to cancel on you. I'll call myself out. I had to cancel on you the first time around, so we
Uh,
had to run it back, and I'm glad I can get you on here.
no worries, man. I read a couple books, so hopefully I'm a little smarter now. So.
I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of wisdom to share, a lot of great stories and stuff like that. So I'm excited for this one.
All right, all right.
So let's start off by, kind of telling the people where you're at right now. We were talking before the show. You're an indie guy, but right now you're spending your off season working on your body in Florida. Kind of talk about, what's going on down there, some of the things you're focusing on and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I would say probably, this basketball thing is a little bit of a process. That's like kind of how I focus my life is kind of centered around that. My dad was a player. I'm a player. So it feels like I'm seeing double, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
that's really all I know, right? So the main thing I try to focus on is like why I'm good or why I'm not good, right? And that has nothing to do with what someone tells me about my performance, right? So like I know based on how I felt by myself in a court or based on how I felt in a game, stuff like that. So this summer, man, I'll tell you what, emotionally I had some stuff going on that wasn't the best, but also physically I felt pretty stiff overall. Like I would watch players not like score or whatever, but I would see how they moved and I was like, man, I'm just not moving like that. But I'm kind of like fool's gold because I kind of look the part, I guess, right? So people think I'm like fake in shape, or like something, right? Like nothing's wrong with me, I guess. So it's like it's sometimes hard to get help or to like get people to realize like you're kind of going through some things. So I think ultimately at the end of the summer we played with Jaden Ivey in the pro am or whatever, and I was like, bruh, like the way he was just moving, bruh, like just
Yeah.
moving, like man, I was like, all right, Kel, just put the ball down a little bit and let's just reconstruct this thing. So I
Yeah.
started off that process in India a little bit, which was like just waking up. I would read like Indian style to kind of open up my hips and stuff like that. And then I would stretch for like an hour and then get into like some bands, then a little lifting or whatever, and then always like grass running. And so I did that up until it started getting cold. And then I came down to Florida where there's a little heat. I have a doctor here as well, but he's in Miami, like an hour away. So that's what sort of brought me here.
That's what's up, man. So you mentioned Jaden Ivey, and I got a chance to work with him going into his senior year, or not his senior year, his last year at Purdue. And he's definitely one of those guys that just like has it. You know what I mean? Just the
Yeah.
movement, everything he does is fluid. It looks good.
Yeah.
Like you don't see a lot of people like that. And then obviously, that's helped him get to where he is today. But
Yeah.
you guys are both Purdue guys, so I guess we can talk about that connection. How has it been for you? I know you played for the Men of Mackey. You're a Purdue alum. What's kind of like the Purdue family like? Like when you see guys like that, is it like instant connection?
No, not at all. I don't know. For me, it could be a little different, but I wouldn't say so, to be honest. Like, me specifically as a person, I'm not really. I've moved around so much that like it takes me to look back at something to realize like what type of institution it was most of the time, and like college sort of plays into that. So, I'm pretty close with everyone I won the championship with, like all those guys from that team, but players after not so much. Like I know PJ Thompson, like his dad and
Hmm.
my dad played against each other in Italy. So I've had dinner with PJ Thompson like in Italy, when we were kids.
Oh,
So
that's
like he's
crazy.
like a Purdue player that I probably have like a instant connection anytime I probably see him or something like that. But no, not really. I wouldn't say so. But playing with him, I was trying to see like what Purdue tendencies he had, but I didn't really I didn't really see too many. He just moved so well. I was just like, wow, that thing kind of stuck out to me.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned your dad. Um, he played pro. You were actually born in Greece. Is that right?
That's correct.
So talk about your upbringing, kind of, who put the ball in your hand? Obviously, probably your dad, but was it like Was it like a thing where it's like you're going to be a basketball player? Did you try multiple sports, and what was that like growing up in Greece?
That's a great question. So I lived like the first, I think, 3 years in Greece, and then I moved to Italy for like the next seven, eight. But depending on when my dad started the season or if he was injured or something like that, I could catch like a month of school or something in the States as well. So, but mostly it was just, to be honest, it was like I was with my mom most of the time and my brother, and she tried to make it so that we weren't like foreigners in a country. So we
Mm-hmm.
never went to like international schools, like at the house. She wasn't speaking to us in English and stuff like that. It was like either Greek or Italian, whatever we were speaking. She was going to talk to us in that language, and then it was basically like a mountain of extracurricular activities. So I actually started off playing like piano, like riding horses, doing a little taekwondo, all that stuff alongside basketball. And then I would play kind of like whatever the sport was the season. Like, if it's
Yeah.
like fall, I might try to find a football somewhere. If it's summer, I might try to grab a baseball and stuff like that. But ultimately, I liked horseback riding better than everything. But I think just moving around so much when you like switch coaches or like, like
Yeah.
get the wrong horse or something, it kind of demotivated me and stuff like that. So, but it was basically like extracurriculars and just working on like school stuff all week. And then if my dad had like a home game or a game in a city my mom was interested in, we would go to the game. But if it was in a city my mom wasn't interested in, we would go somewhere in Europe for like a little vacation. Like, so that's basically how my life was up until like middle school for the most part.
That's a different lifestyle, man. Like you mentioned, kind of the horseback riding. That's not something that's really popular here. As probably as widespread as it is in other countries. What goes into stuff like that? Like, what is the sport of horseback riding? Like, how do you score? How do you win? Like,
Ah,
what is the goal there?
question. So a lot of the verbiage you don't fault me on it because it was in Italian. So my English verbiage for it, I might not know it. Like, but I did more like the equestrian style horseback
Okay.
riding. So I didn't do like racing. So I was little up and like because there was a lot of older like adults too in our group. It'd probably be like 8 to 12 of us. So it'd pretty much start off if it was like a Saturday, I would get there early. I'm gonna brush the horse. I'm gonna feed the horse. Or like had a caretaker there, whatever. I'll go around with her, do like the whole keeping of the horse, and then
Mm-hmm.
you get on your horse. Obviously, you have your boots, your helmet. You got your reins and stuff like that. You got to get the measurements so the saddle and all that stuff's correct. And then for the most part, our routine when we would do it would be like we would line up. It would be like in a kind of like in this tent, and it kind of was like circular. So you kind of start and you kind of just walk around, then you jog around, then you gallop around, like pick up your pace, and then you kind of do an Indian run where you're in line and the person in the back has
Mm.
to jog around, and then the next person has to gallop, whatever she says or whatever. And then you get into your jumps. You do like 1 bar jumps, then you do like 2 bar jumps and 3 bar jumps. So obviously the main point of it is to control the horse. So beyond like jumping and picking up pace and you have your whip obviously too, um it's like controlling them from being erratic, right? So when you're
Mm.
little, at least at the stable I was at, they give like the younger kids the older horses because they have like a more calm spirit and stuff like that. Or like if there's a pony in the group, it might have little man syndrome. So if he ends up in the back, right, it's like the hardest horse to ride because he's going to kick you off because he's trying to get to the front so quick because his ego doesn't allow him. Or if you're on like a girl horse, right, and there's a guy horse behind you, you're playing a little defense, right? So it's all those personality characteristics of like taming the horse, right? So I see like when they told me like Jokic rides horses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's controlling real beasts over a course of a lot of time, and now he has to go play basketball. I'm sure it's as easy as possible for him.
That's what I was thinking, man. It's like I know you're kind of a point guard. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that sounds like playing point guard, like
yeah,
controlling the situations, controlling egos, characteristic manager, like management, like that kind of is wild. How you just brought up Jokic, and I was thinking that same like
Yeah.
train of thought. So when did you start to like specialize in basketball or really start to like approach it like in a serious way?
It's a it's life, right? So I would say like from the beginning, I mean, I was attracted to it, and
Mm-hmm.
then I was born in like February. My dad won a championship. The next week, then he won another championship. So like that energy's just kind of always been around me, like positive and negative, right? I've seen both sides. So
Yeah.
like at age, I don't know, 2, right? Like I think I'm in the front page of like the Greek paper because like, my mom had put like braid ponytails in my hair or whatever. And so I'm in the front page like, oh, Ken Barlow's son runs on the court, right? They thought I was a girl. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
it's always been around me, but the as time went on, like the other interests I had, I always ended up getting like a bad coach or teacher.
Mm.
Like I loved piano, loved like when they gave me the girl horse and horseback riding, I quit, right? When I got this teacher in piano that was just like not understanding that I had took piano lessons like many years before I got to him, I just was like not feeling it. But basketball was the thing that, like I said before, just growing up with my mom, there's always like a connection there. Like we get to go in the locker room with my dad, or we get to go to the practices and stuff like that. So just being around those men in those settings, I felt like just how they acted, like because some players were good in practice, some players were good in games. Some people try to show off, some people show up to practice. I used to see like all that stuff, and I felt like my father is kind of like a man's man. Like I really never saw anyone I felt like he didn't measure up with or more. Right? I never felt like he was at a disadvantage, which I think as a kid is a pretty
Yeah, it's
rare thing
cool.
sometimes. Yeah. So like just seeing him how he handled himself in that room, I always felt like I should play with him, and he should get some of these weak dudes off the team. That kind of lived inside me, like for the most part, until I got to the States. And I think Kobe speaks about it. And Kobe spoke like when he first moved to the States, he had like a decision to make whether it was like just hone in on basketball or like try to get to know these people that come from a different culture essentially. And I mean, I tried to get to know people and stuff. So my interest went all over the place. And then
Hmm.
basketball kind of came like second, but I had put in so much work up until probably age 12, 11, 12, that I didn't even have to, I swear, I promise you, I didn't work at all in high school. Like, didn't do anything. Like, I promise you. I mean, I hooped. I went to games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like to go to practice. Like, I wasn't a kid at practice, like, oh, count the clock unless we were running or something. But like, getting up early or like trying to find a fitness trainer or like all that kind of stuff. So I took like probably like a good, and then Purdue, like probably up until my sophomore year, I didn't do anything on my own and stuff like that either. So like I probably from birth to probably age maybe 11, 12, I was locked in. Like if you went to spend the night at my house, you had to run laps in the morning,
Mm.
run, So I was like that. But afterwards, I was kind of off. And then now I'm more like, if you're not
Back
ready,
locked in.
I'm not really
That's
yeah.
fascinating, dude. That's
Yeah.
fascinating. I mean, obviously, you were one of the top players in the state. You go to one of the best schools in the
But
state.
I was an all state in high school.
You won an Indiana All Star.
Oh, dude, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
What? Do you remember like some of the names? You're the
Yeah,
year after me, right? You were '09, right?
I was a nine. Yeah, yeah. I was good.
So who
Like I'll
I
tell you this
can't,
how what, bro, because I'm I swear I promise you, bro. Like people do not understand this, but I'm very specific. I know I come off aloof a lot, but I'm very I write every single thing I do down, dog.
yeah.
So, like in high school, bro. Like, and this is no knock on any coach or anything, bro. I don't know what they saw, maybe didn't see it, but I'm playing power forward, bro, on my high school team. And on AAU, I'm going 1-4 flat. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, at Cathedral, we had Eric Peck, who was a really good post up player. And then
Yep.
Patrick Polygraph was a phenomenal shooter. And our plays were mostly designed for shooters. and post up players, which I was just not the best at either one of those. So I ended up sort of being like the garbage man.
Just out there.
I averaged like 7 points, but if Coach Painter pulled up or someone was talking trash, I would hit him for 30. But if not, I was going to get like 2 points a night, bro. Like, so,
Bro.
so we do like a core 40 workout for like the top 40 to see who's going to make the team. Bro, I can't remember. Jordan Holes was Mr. Basketball.
Yep.
You had like Scotty Wood, Colt Ryan, DJ Bird, Eric Peck made it. Stephen Van Treese had to
Oh
have made it.
yeah. Yep.
You get me? I don't even know. Like, I don't even have one dude touch the league. You hear me? It's weak. I mean, it's weak, bro. Yeah. Court 40, dude, I was picking dudes off. Like, I was taking the ball from dudes at half court. You get me? And these are the dudes who made the team. So, but I wasn't really, I didn't try probably 100th of the amount they tried. They did more effort than I did. But I was playing power forward, bro.
So how did Painter find you through AAU?
Yeah, I would imagine, bro. I don't know how it all happened, to be honest. Like, I had like a team where we all had played since I sort of moved to the States together, and it was one of those things where we were all cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were all cool. We'd get like one or two new dudes each year. Like, we had Mason Plumlee on the team. We cut him. You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
damn.
You give me our team.
I forgot he's from Warsaw, isn't he? I forgot about that.
He was just nervous a little bit for a week or two, right? And so fast, but like everyone on my team, like I don't care what their rank was, but they were going to go at whoever was their matchup. So it wasn't that we were greedy, but we were all like pretty aggressive. So you play like 8-10 games a weekend, bro. Like I was going to play hard by 2 or 3, and that's if the coaches were on the sidelines. You get me? So like I would get like all the numbers, and like all the coaches would hit me up, you know, and all my teammates would be after the game like, "Oh, I was killing," and I'm like, "But you killed at the game. No one was even really."
Yeah.
So I kind of took that approach. So I mean, at the time, I was real cautious, you know, and I remember Coach Painter was like, he was really, I like how he texted. Like he wasn't saying like little weird stuff. I just was never, he was texting about things I was actually thinking about. So
yeah,
he was cool.
What are some of the other schools that you considered throughout that process?
Probably Indiana and Xavier are probably the only two I really probably truly considered outside of Purdue. I was probably desperate for a Notre Dame offer, but I had the worst GPA at Cathedral up until senior year, you know. So that wasn't going to happen.
So let's talk about Cathedral, right? That's kind of like a lot of people who might not know. It's an interesting school because it's a private school that has high academics, but also high athletic performance too. Like sometimes you get some of these private schools where it's an academic setting and sports comes second. I would say at Cathedral, they're like pretty neck and neck. Like they're putting out state championships in football, volleyball, high caliber basketball, a lot of NFL players coming from there, like a lot of good athletes like yourself coming from there. Like what was your experience at a high school like that?
That's a great point. I mean, when you're in it, I think the curve to where it is now, like was happening kind of during like my years a little bit, like, you know, William Stubbs, bro. Remember William Stubbs?
Yeah.
Bro, like William Stubbs, bro, like, and I've been around some players, bro, like high level NBA, high level whatever, Olympians and stuff like that. To me, there's not a player who got more recognition for sport than William Stubbs. Bro.
Stubbs, dude, that's crazy because he recently hit me up. He has a daughter who's like 11 or 12, and he's trying to get her some training. And I was just like, I remember that name. Like, dude was different, like stud. Yeah.
Right? So, like, he came, like, so my brother's 2 years older, so he was in Stubbs' grade. So, like, when I was in middle school, going to the school and, like just, like, being after school and everyone's waiting to get picked up, you know, it's, like, kind of an assembly after school at Cathedral. Like, everyone's like, Stubbs, Stubbs, Stubbs. So, I mean, going to the school, you felt like, if I'm not, like, on something on sports, my social standing's just going to be low, bro. Like, like I felt like I had to be good at sports to like get a girl, bro. Like 100%. Like if I'm just like this may sound horrible, but this is the reality, dog. If I am like a black kid at Cathedral, not good at sports, I just didn't have the confidence for that, bro. Me
Yeah.
personally, you feel me? I didn't have it, bro. I didn't have it. So you feel a sense like you got to fit in somewhere in one of these teams, something, bro. At that
Yeah.
school, you
I could
feel
see that for sure. I could definitely see that.
doesn't you don't
It's
feel
a
cool like I used to never do my homework. You don't feel cool like not doing homework. You don't feel cool like not getting good grades. You don't. It's not a school where that's like
that
cool.
yeah, that's a
You know what
fact.
I'm saying?
Yep.
Like it's not cool, bro. Like the grading scale is just harder too. It's like a 70 and below is an F. Really,
Right.
like public school 70 is a C. So like my numbers were lower at Cathedral, but my statistics kind of stayed the same as public school. You get me? But
Yeah.
bro, like you feel like you had it makes you accountable. I would say it's a school where like it's cool to be accountable.
100%. What school would you have gone to if you didn't go to like a private school? Like what area were you living in at the time?
I went to Carmel Middle School and then Creekside.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was like West Carmel, and then my parents
Got you.
got divorced, and then I would have, yeah, I probably would have went to like I don't know somewhere in Indianapolis where my dad moved, and maybe it was LN, maybe I think.
Ooh, that would have been scary. That would have
But
been scary.
it would have been Carmel, 100%
Y-
would have been Carmel.
You at Carmel or LN during that era would have been crazy because you would have probably got to play guard because they had
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many legit bigs around that time.
Exactly. So probably, but I mean, the lifestyle at Cathedral, I wouldn't trade that for anything. You
Yeah.
know, the Vassal, I like Vassal, like I wasn't even like I wasn't mad about it. Like you get me, like
Yeah.
I'm coming here to get my 2 points. I wasn't wasting my energy, so I wasn't like mad about it. But I'm like, bro, it's gonna be really hard for us to get out of sectional. Like we're
Yeah,
not putting the ball in the best dude's hands. I just don't
for
know.
sure.
I guess I
So you end up going to Purdue. Um, you guys had a squad, like some of the best Purdue teams that I've watched was during that era. Talk about just your experience there, the highs, the lows, whatever comes to mind about those 3 years at Purdue.
Yeah, I mean, I tell people, especially professionally or like dudes I come across, like I feel like Purdue's kind of scarred me a bit in the sense that like my first year there, like Jawan, Etwan, and Robbie all went. Robbie made the team, but they all went to like USA for the under 21 or something like that, under
Mm-hmm.
20. And so that summer, even before the coaches, because coaches really couldn't touch you back then in the summer, so it's just all like on yourself. We played open gym like every single day. And as Juwan, Etwan, and Robbie came back from their various times of getting cut or Robbie finishing it, and they implemented themselves into that open gym, I was just like, bruh, the level of like that competitiveness and focus and like trying to actually just win and like trying to actually be in the like hoop other than like do anything else, like that was the first priority, just like trying to win, like stacking up Final Four. I felt like that was so strong, like so strong. I didn't feel like anyone doubted that we would win,
Mm-hmm.
that anything off the court, bro, felt like Christmas, bro.
Yeah. Fact.
It was, like no one. I couldn't even tell you about anybody's personal business at Purdue on that team because we were just all about winning, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like he could
Yeah.
have his nose, he could have did. Really, they could have did it all, but like no one really cared because we were just trying to get a dub, bro. And like I was all freshman team at like 2 3 points per game, bro, right? Like,
It's
right? I'm
crazy.
just making winning plays, like, right? Like everyone was. So it wasn't about scoring. Some people scored, obviously, but it was like I just felt like my freshman year, even my sophomore year, we had a little bit more drama with Robbie tearing his ACL,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just nice to be around people like trying to win. You get what I'm saying? So that's probably I don't know, like everything that happened off the court and everything around that I couldn't tell you really. I mean, I could give you a story or two, but like mentally, like you're just like, oh, these kids are coming on the court. whoever shows up, we're going to beat them. Like, and you may lose, you may not, but you're thinking I'm going to beat them. So I would say above all, that's like what I feel about Purdue and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, Purdue and IU are two schools that just have their own, like, I don't know. Like when you get on campus, it's like it's that city is the campus. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, like you could go all
everything revolves
the
around that. And especially at that time, Purdue basketball, IU basketball, same thing. But it's like, how did it feel like on campus in that era? Like you feel like you could just really just do whatever you want. Like,
they have this thing called like oh, it's both, bro. It's both. I'm not gonna lie. It's actually both. Like you live with a certain freedom and you live with a certain paranoia. I would say too.
mm,
It's like I remember on my, I watch movies, bro. I read books. I'm really in fantasy land half the
yeah,
time. So I'm like, okay, you go to college, everyone likes you, girls like you. It's a great thing socially, right? You just have a great badge that gets a certain type of service. Like on my visit, we went to some party, bro, and I swear I must have walked in the door like within 10 seconds. This girl comes up to me and goes, "Oh, do you play on the basketball team?" I'm like, still in high school. I'm like, didn't even get my words off. She goes, "Do you start?" I'm like, "No." She walks off. So I'm like, bro, like you got to start. You can't even just be on the team. You
yeah,
got to start like and they just won the Big Ten tournament the year before, bro. So like my whole freshman year, like not my whole freshman at the beginning, like the dude Coach Painter had put in the paper that I might redshirt. So everyone's like, "Oh, you're about to redshirt." So I'm like, I'm about to really be on the bench all year. Like my God, it's about to be weak, bro. So I had this like, like I have to earn something. So you live with I have to earn something, but I also get something if I earn it. So it's like, and then like Foley and all those guys went to Purdue freshman year. So we would be like 15 to 8 deep minimum. Like everyone
right.
is like a cathedral party every time. So it's
Hey guys, taking a quick break from the show to give a special shout out and a thank you to the sponsor of today's episode, which is Vitruve. Now, if you've ever been in my gym, you train with me, or you visited the gym, you see this attached to every single bar. Vitruve is the gold standard for VBT units, in my opinion. Accurate, reliable data. We're attaching it to every single lift that we do. We're getting bar speed metrics, power, force, range of motion. We're able to consolidate all that data, manage it, and then help our athletes get the most precise results possible. So, again, Vitruve, second to none. I stand by it. They are a friend of the show, so they're letting you guys get 10% off of your orders by using the code GEMS. That's GEMS at vitruve.fit. That's their website. I would encourage you to get on there, look at the products, look at the research that goes into their products, look at their product education. And if you like what you see, tap in, right? If you had any questions, tap in with me. I've been using Vitruve for years now, so I'm very well versed on how to implement this into a program. Again, 10% off with the code GEMS. And in my opinion, best VBT unit on the market from reliability, accuracy, customer support is A1. Their education on their product is A1. I cannot recommend them enough. Vitruve.fit, 10% off, code GEMS. Now back to the show.
Mhm.
That's crazy, man. So, you guys had a good group there, and then you transferred out. I think maybe a couple of people graduated. Robbie and those guys left. So you end up at UIC. Kind of what went into that decision? How would that year go, leading up to ultimately you starting your pro career?
Oh, it was eye opening to say the least, right? So I mean, because before I get kicked off the team, I feel like I was in the office, Sam Presti hits up Coach Painter like, "You hear me?" I'm like, "Kel, dog, like, don't go to class, bro. Just work on your game and get to West." I'm looking at West Lafayette like prison when I heard
Yeah.
like Presti was on the phone. So I'm like, then I get kicked out of school the next week, bro. Right? So I'm like, my I wasn't accurate on my ranking, really, and I'm a pretty honest guy about my ranking. normally. I'm not like, right, that's how you make all freshman team at 3-point. You're pretty honest about who you
Right.
are on the team. So I couldn't figure out what my ranking was, right? So like I wasn't really getting any calls from schools. My dad kept telling me to call UIC. He knew the coach over there. Da, da, da. I'm like, hell no, man, I ain't calling UIC. Where am I? Is my ranking that low? No way. Like, no way, bro. So I'm like kind of holding it off. And then like nothing came for like until the summer. Nothing came basically. Like Division II schools were like really far schools, like D1, bro. And then like the schools that are like kind of halfway decent are like calling me and they're like, "Are you an alcoholic?" Coach Painter and all that says you're an alcoholic. So I'm like, so I had to stop drinking and because I don't even know who I am at this point, bro. So I stopped drinking. I stopped, right? But I still went to like parties and stuff and noticed like, bro, I don't even really like half these people if I'm sober, bro. You know, you start
Yeah.
stuff like that. So then I started getting like aware of my ranking. Like, Kel, you're real low. Like, you're low right here, dog. You feel what I'm saying? So I end up calling the coach or whatever. Went on a visit. It was like my only D1 offer. I'm like, gotta take it, dog. Just gotta do it. And then from there, I was pretty locked in for a good minute and stuff like that. And then it was just in Chicago, so many pros that come
Hmm.
to the gym. Like Derrick Rose would be there every day. Like all these guys, Mustafa Shakur, he used to play at Arizona. Like it was just a lot of people that would be there. I played Tony Allen's little brother every day, 1-on-1, bro. Like, like he has the
Yeah.
same package like Tony Allen. So it was just so much pro stuff in the city of Chicago. This is around MVP D Rose. Like, so Chicago's like a real hotbed for basketball. It's like an Adidas city and stuff. Like, so it kind of pushed my mind back to like pro. Whereas in college at Purdue, you don't see really anything pro. So your mind's just like all at least mine was all invested in Purdue more than like
Yeah.
pro, I would say, after probably one or 2 months on campus.
Like looking back at that whole situation, getting kicked off the team, getting kicked out of school, was it multiple events? Was it one event? Or do you even kind of look at it now as maybe like a blessing in disguise because it gave you an opportunity to kind of get out of an environment that may have been hurting you and like kind of find a new way to do things?
It's a great question. I've switched my thought process on that actually a few times. Like, oh, that was good for me. Oh, that was But
Yeah.
really, I mean, I think like however it played out, I think like I knew it was coming. Right? It's not like how I was living. Like this is how I was introducing myself to dudes on the Purdue team. Hi, I'm Kelsey. I'm your teammate. If you want to hang out with me, you can, but it's at your own fucking risk. You can ask any one of those dudes, like from freshman, the first day I got there, bro. Like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got there. This is what I'm saying to every last one of them. Hang out with me at your own risk, bro. So that's legitimately my mindset as well. So I knew what I was doing, like would eventually hit that point, right? But I don't know, like I think when I look at it and I think more my development comes from people asking me about it, right? Because especially like the years like close after that, like if I was out somewhere at an event or something, like a person, especially if they're drunk or something, is going to hit me with it, right? Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Purdue, like the first probably 5 years after that event, it's like pretty heavy. Like that's all everyone wants to talk about, and depending on the character of the person who brings it up, they're going to try to take a side with either Purdue, myself, or Matt Painter, right, or my teammates or something like that. And just hearing those different perspectives that were like kind of biased and inaccurate or just kind of like just talking shit, I realized like more than anything, like in a situation like that, no matter if the system's correct for me, not for me, if I'm doing this, that, like if I feel like I have the skill sets, if I have like the father, like I mentioned to, I felt like measured up man to man, like I got to be fucking accountable on every inch with
Yeah.
these people, bro, because they won't let you live if you're anything short of it, right? Like the Matt Painter would tell you, like his thing with me, and this is like a business thing, I would say, right? When it comes to like true value. He's like, Kelly, I know you're gonna lock dude up. I know you're gonna do the job for me, right? But like if I call you out your name, or if I give you $1 million, you may give me the same face, right? So it's that predictableness, right? So when you have
Mm-hmm.
like a little bit of a unpredictable nature as far as like your expression, like you have to dot all your I's and T's to the highest level because it's a little discomfort that you may give a person when they can't predict how you're going to react to a situation.
That's a
So
fact.
I would say that's like, just from hearing other people ask me and them siding and then me like not knowing where I stood, it made me just be like, yeah, Kel, like whatever that experiences was, it just comes down to walking in the door just more accountable than the AD at that point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, yeah. Accountability, I mean, it's huge. And whether that's a good way to learn it or a hard way to learn it, it helps you. And now, like when you talk about it, it sounds like you've got your mind kind of wrapped around the situation and how you maybe would have approached it different if, at the time being who you are now. But it's like I think it's good for everybody to go through hard things. You know
oh,
what I
yeah,
mean?
I mean,
Like,
everyone goes through some sort of hard thing,
yeah.
if you want to micro or macro it up, or but white collar, blue collar it up, right? Like you're going to
Yep.
go through something. You got to figure out what keeps you obviously going. The shit I get like fried on, like like me personally, like when it comes down to like how do we like, I'm not saying like Coach Penny did a bad or anybody like whoever dealt with me or whatever. I'm not saying we did bad or good thing, but like when you're trying to like figure out how to work or work with someone, right? Like I was talking to each one more the other day, right? Each one, like this is like I love this guy, right? We were at dinner like this time last year, bro. And I was like, bro, he was like, I said something about like Europe or something. He thought I lived there until I was like 2 and then came over here, right? Right? You know what I'm saying? So people like you can understand just through over a course of time, like I actually grew up in Europe, bro. Like, right? So if you would have looked at me like a foreign exchange student, some of my behaviors might come off a little bit more understanding for you. You know?
Yeah.
So like personally, like I probably had the best relationship with Coach Painter, right? Even though all these sort of things happen, but it's kind of like it's hard to understand where we're coming from, regardless of what's going on fully. Like Coach Painter doubled down on me, bro. I was in his office. He was like, everyone's saying I should kick you off, but if you kill it, I'm the man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I can't say like the times would change anything. It's just those because I get to this intimate point with people, bro. It's not like this like
Yeah.
it's not the same as everyone else. So like when it's intimate, people want to feel like they understand and they make decisions like that. I would say is like where my gray area or where my disconnect may occur with someone.
That makes sense. That makes sense. It's crazy, man. Like just how it is a different landscape now. So it's hypothetical, but it's weird because back then, like when stuff is publicized so much about one individual, it was kind of like a little bit, um, uncommon at the time.
Yeah,
Now
Twitter just came out.
everybody has that individual
Yeah,
coverage in the media.
yeah,
Um,
Twitter had just came out. I think I was
yeah,
the
yeah,
first guy we knew who was trending.
bro. Twitter,
Like,
Twitter back then was crazy too. By
yeah,
the way,
yeah, dude. Like, dude, that's because you didn't think parents were on there, right?
bro, Twitter was like a big ass like chat room. Like it was like real time live tweeting everything.
Yeah, like on the bus, checking out the
Yeah.
show, whatever. Like, you really tell people what you're really on. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, Twitter was.
100%.
I mean, like, even if you go look at the old Facebook walls, bro. Oh man, like
Bad,
there's
bro.
not there's not a social media app that trumps Facebook before parents, bro.
A
I don't care.
1000%, bro.
You
That
know,
was those unreal vibes back in the day.
like, like I looked at that probably one board day in Europe this past year. I was like, bro, I like, it's just, oh no, yeah, you're definitely right about the media but now you have like cancel culture. Like if you say like, bro,
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the fringe of like, because I had friends from every race. You know, we all hung out with each other. We had friends from rich neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods, black, white,
Mm-hmm.
Jewish, Christian, whatever. We all hung out. So like when it came to like sensitivity jokes about the person, everything's getting thrown out. You get what I'm saying? So like now,
Yeah.
like you get criticized for like, man, just
A
keep your
lot.
mouth closed. So
Yeah,
most
it's tough. I mean, I was watching a stand up the other day. Like I love comedy. Like I love comedy, and that's like kind of like my thing. Like I'll watch a stand up, or I like to go to a stand up, and I like the jokes that toe the line. You know what I mean?
yeah,
On
it's like
any topic, like anything, like anything is on deck for me because it's like I know that it's comedy and I know that it's an art to it. I just like comedy because I think some of that stuff can actually bring people together because some of it is a little bit of truth in some of these jokes. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
It's
But
it's good stuff.
the thing is, here's the problem. We have like this, you know, you get everything so quick, like your information, right? Whether it's real or fake, I don't know, right? But your information, your feed, everything that you get on your phone, and most things that we get from is quick. So people nowadays, when they see this stuff and everything, they want to make a comment and all this kind of stuff. Like everyone is trying to get an advantage without working for it, you know. So
Yeah, yeah,
some angle of judgment. And it's like, bro, like, why do we all have this judgment? Oh, all of our heads aren't down and we're all not fucking working. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it.
yeah,
Like, everyone's just
yeah,
looking at shit. Like, when I'm not, I don't know what era it was. I'm not saying it even existed, but if we would all, like, right, when you put your head down and work, you don't even know what's going on with, like, if it was racist or not, because that has nothing to do with you're going to get a
yeah,
on your work. You know, you want to get a result here, dog. So
dude.
that's
Yeah,
what it looks like to me. I'm like, bro, these people are just no one's working anymore, man. No one's
that's a fact. So
working.
I want to talk about your jump into the pros. You come out, you play in the D League at the time, G League now, bounce around Europe. You're a vet now. You're at this point. You're 10+ years in. Um, talk about just kind of like some of your stops along the way, and kind of where you're at now, and what your next steps are as far as like getting back on that court.
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty interesting actually. I'm still trying to figure it out as well. You know, I feel like I'm still. I like my car. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh no, bro! You get me like
yeah.
summer, bro. Like this summer, this is like the first year I really went and played, and I was probably 70%, but I really went and played like in Indy and like
Mm-hmm.
around like summer ball and stuff. And I might have shot for the summer, like I don't. Let's not count the TBT, but even there, I probably shot. I had to shoot like 10 for 100, bro.
That's not great.
Like, bro, and they're guarding me every time. I'm like, bro, I can't get an inch. I haven't made a shot since last week. Nigga. Like, what is going on out here? I thought you don't guard the dude who misses every shot. What is going on, bro? This is you feel me? I'm like, that's how I'm feeling, bro. Like, I gotta take it. Like, bro, I gotta take it. I'm bringing my little kid to the game. He don't know what's going on, bro. You know, like I just feel like, man, I'm losing every time. But I'm like, I'm looking at it like I play with Jay Ivy. Like I told you, I feel Jay Ivy's like the golden boy, bro. Like, you get me? But playing with him, like I promise you, I felt like he was better than every single person on the court just because how he moved. But I
Mm-hmm.
never felt like I was going to win the game with this guy. You feel me? So I'm like, Kel, if you just get your body with what you have, you you know, I think
Yeah.
you can play on any stage because your mind and something you're doing on this court is attracting the defense. you know you suck. They don't know it quite yet, right? Like, I know I suck, bro. It's not like, you feel me? I know my shit's not working right now. I don't know. But I'm like, they can't even figure it out. And the game's over. I done left the thing, and I'm learning more than anybody in the gym, bro. So like, so like where I am now after that, I like my car. I just had to, restore it a bit. But
Yeah.
the G League was pretty interesting. I mean, we had a coach, his name is Otis Smith. Um, he was the ex GM of the Magic. So I would say this is an outlier of a situation. And on our team, I think of the 12 who made the roster, nine of them had NBA experience and were pretty young. Or if they're older, it was like a Hashim Thabit, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Ben Hansborough, Lorenzo Brown, who just is like first team All Year League now, but he played with Toronto and Detroit. Willie Reed played with the Heat and the Clippers. Who else we had on that team? Adonis Thomas. He had got a couple 10 days with the Magic and maybe Philly. Robert Covington was there for like a week. Robert Covington, dog. Oh my God, he was on
Yeah.
like a week. And so he came. We had one preseason game, bro. He shot, I swear to God, he shot 1 for 12, bro, and got called up that night. And guess what I thought? He deserved it because he looked better, bro. He just looked better. His shit was off that night, but he just looked like if he was doing pick and pops, if he caught it and you were 2 feet off him, he was firing it every
Cashing.
time.
Yep.
And if you closed out, so just playing around those guys, and it was like, bro, like the GM was, I meant the coach, he was like this, listen, guys, I used to be the GM of the Magic. He's pulling up in Bentleys and Rolls to the T League, right? So he's like, you feel me? He's like, I don't know any of you guys, I know the guys who played in the NBA. If you haven't touched the NBA, you didn't even look up your film. So you're going to have to figure this thing out. So I'm like, all right, Kel, like, training camp, get in there, just, do your thing. Bro, I'm getting no reps, bro. No reps, right? So I'm like, all right, Kel, the only way you can do something is you got to line these dudes up after practice and training camp in one-on-one, bro. So that's how
Yeah.
I made the team, just playing dudes one-on-one,
Damn.
right? Like literally. And then like I wasn't even dressing at the beginning of the season. Wasn't dressing. Like I'm like, I think my career is ending before it started. It's fucking over. They got me at the 2 guard now. I thought I was a point. It's just like I don't even know how to think it through. You get what I mean? So
Yeah.
somehow I go out the night before the game because I don't think I'm dressing with Ben Hansborough. Like, bro, this is back when I was drinking, bro. I felt it all the way to the next day. Somehow I'm on the roster of the game. They throw me in the game. I promise you, I'm not even there, bro. I swear I wasn't there, man. I hit 4 threes in the quarter. It gave me, it extended my life, bro. They thought I was Ray Allen, dog. Which was good, right? It extended my life. But now they think I'm just a shooter, bro. So all this, control the pace of the game, how I like am grooming myself to play is like out the window. They just want me catching it, So then that literally changed the trajectory of my career. And I became a 2. You feel me? Just like
Jeez.
just 4 threes. Nonsense, dog. You get me? Like, I don't even know how those things went in, bro. Like just firing them, bro. I swear. Had no idea how they went in. So after that, I was like a 2. But I really didn't get any playing time, and time was ticking. I didn't know what to do, bro. So ultimately, I had the GM of the G League team pick me up every morning, like 2 hours before practice, and I would just lift and shoot and be there before everyone on the team. And then, like, what motivated me, there's this guy, Chris Quinn. He's assistant coach of the Miami Heat. And we were at the G League showcase, everyone's there, and everyone's kind of wearing their collar a little, whatever. And I've known Chris like from like Notre Dame camp. My dad went there and shit. So he's in the gym at 6 a.m. I'm in the gym at 6 a.m. lifting, right? And I'm like, oh, what's up, Chris? Remember me? I'm Ken's son, da, da, da. And I swear to God, he was kind of on that with me, like basically like, you're not of the caliber, like to really have
Oh, wow.
like, he didn't, if I would have been a higher caliber, he would have addressed me a little bit better. Like, no, just like he can do whatever he wants. Like, but I felt that and I was like, I respect that. So like after that, I was just like every morning I'm up and I'm just trying to. And so I felt like once I did that, I learned like if you do the work and like the shit just sort of clicks. But I never knew how I was doing anything good or bad. I just felt like if I get up early, if I do something like that, it'll just work in the game. I didn't know, like, probably for the first few years of my career, like, details of anything. I was just like, if I just outwork you with
Yeah.
my abilities, like, I'm just gonna look at you as a man, like, bro, you like
You didn't do your homework.
yeah, like if you come in here and complain one time about anything and you got here 2 hours after me, I'm like, the only reason you're complaining is because you're just waking up. So like just like that is like from there, and then I went to like France, Greece, like those next years, those 3 years like that. That was like my approach when I was sharp. I was just like, if it had nothing to do with what your game was. I couldn't tell you what any of these guys' game was really because I wasn't watching film at that point like that. I would just look at like personal things,
Mm-hmm.
like qualitative things more than like what the person can actually do on the court, you know? So like getting up early and stuff. And then I ended up getting cut probably when I was like 27, 26, bro. And that kind of turned me a little bit, right? Because I got cut for like physical ability, bro. And I didn't think I was worse than anybody, but I personally I couldn't, like I was talking about this summer, like I couldn't function, bro. Like, and it was a mental problem. It wasn't a physical problem. It was like a mental problem. So I'm like, I don't, bro. I just like, the ball came to me one game, 3 seconds on the clock, dream moment, didn't shoot it, bro. You get me? I'm not even in there.
Mm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you can cut me because I'm not performing well, and I can look at my team and say I'm better than all those guys. But I'm honest enough to say that like this car is just not working. So from there, like I try to like do so much things to like get my emotions checked. That's why I started writing and stuff because I'm like, man, like being like, because my team that year was so gossipy, like being in the locker room on the bus, end up engaging in gossip. So it's like
Mm.
the writing helped me like give me something like on the bus. And I'm like, bro, when I went to Argentina on the bus before the game, damn near up until the horn went off, I'm just writing, bro. And it would just keep my brain so focused on like the story I wanted to create for myself that it was like a real focus for me. You could say I was distracted, like I was doing something other than basketball, but it just like I feel like when you're not on those winning, like we're for sure gonna win, or like if you're not, and it's a business, so there's money involved anyway. It's not college, right? Like there's just so much negative gossip and complaints, bruh. And I just that shit absorbs me, you know. So like
Yeah.
life is really what keeps me off from that kind of stuff. So I went through that phase where I really got my mind in order to like kill, and I sort of figured it out. And then I hurt my body a little bit with my shoulder. I remember I was texting you like, what was that, 2021, I believe it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there actually what happened was, bro, I was filming a movie, I was writing some books, doing all this shit like for my team or whatever, trying to like, because in my head, I don't want to make the jersey make me. So if it's a low level team, I'm like, I got to do something to make this elite. So
Yeah.
a camera girl or whatever, and so she filmed a movie for us, right? And so you're doing all this extra shit other than basketball, which is a tough accountability responsibility thing. I look up, bro. We got like 2 games left. They tell me if we don't win, right, this next game, we're not going to the playoffs. So I'm like, Kel, you just filmed a movie, did all this fucking ranked the league, made myself the #1 player in the league, right? I'm like, and the way I ranked them, because it was the COVID year, everyone was living in the same city, in the capital. So I went to all their hotels, and the people who were ranked, I put like a T-shirt with my design on it and an envelope with their ranking and the link to my website, and gifted it to them at their team dinners. So like if you're on, your team, right, you get 3 dudes get it that are ranked, and so this culture was in the league when dudes pull up to the game, they're like, oh, I'm gonna prove to you I should be ranked or ranked higher, bro. Dudes are on that.
Yeah.
But then I look up and I'm like, oh, I'm not even on a playoff team. Oh shit, I gotta win. So that game, I was like focused, bro. I woke up at 4 a.m. somehow. I had to go to the doctor, do all this shit. My shoulder was killing. I'm like, Kel, if you play, you're probably gonna tear your shoulder, dog. But if you lose, you got all this shit with this movie, all this shit, bro. You're really a clown if you don't win. I felt, you know what I mean? Like, don't you
Yeah.
feel people like they do all this extra stuff, but
And
if
it's
they
like
don't,
you weren't focused on the thing you're supposed to be
yeah,
there for.
yeah, dudes. I looked up, I'm like, And like it was this team that had a really good four, and our four always got like it was a dude who could post up. Those were the only games we were losing. So I was like, shit. So I ended up scoring like 48 that game, but then I was hurt ever until now. Basically, I've been hurt
Mm-hmm.
ever since then. So then, so basically, what I'm saying is, I went through this period of having great, I would say, physical tools, right? But I couldn't control my emotion and mind. And then I figured out my mind and pretty much a good routine for my body. Then I crashed my car. So then we had to basically, over the last couple of years, like restore the body. And it's not that I would say I went and just fixed up my car and went and back on the track. I would say, like, when you're hurt, sometimes you don't know how hurt you are. And then you
Yeah.
try to go back out there out of desire to play. And then the next thing's tight. And then you're like, hold up, I'm kind of off centered. Why is my shot not even, you know? And you went through all that stuff. So, like I said before, I've gotten to this point where I went and I would say I saw the competition, like Adarius Adams, man, like this guy, man, oh my God, like he shows up every single. Have you seen him not show up, bro?
I've never seen him not want to play basketball. Like he is a hooper. Like if there's a run, game, practice, drill, workout, whatever, if it involves a basketball, he'll be there.
Like, and he's going to show up though. Like he's
Yeah.
not like fake, like
No,
going
he
for motion,
goes.
he's going at you, like
He's going for 50 as many times as possible.
yeah. So like just seeing like him at his age, right?
Yep.
Like gives me a lot of confidence to be like, if it's not like I'm like, if he's moving like that, whatever they say about age,
Yeah, he's
obviously with LeBron and guys like that, not to be like, but there's something in the world that I can do to fix my body, bro. And I just
mm-hmm.
believed in it, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, and I was like, none of these dudes I felt mentally were better than me because they couldn't figure out that I sucked until the game was over. And
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, Kel, I think what you learned is you have a really strong mind. You can present yourself to prepare yourself. Like right at the TBT, dudes on my team came to the game, bro. They're playing for a fucking $1 million, bro. I don't give a fuck, bro. Like none of you guys have touched that. You hear what I'm saying? Like you haven't, right? So like, and then everyone has this, what would I do if I had $1 million in my pocket, right? Vibe, right? Everyone has that, like if you play or not, right? Every
Yeah.
human has that little fucking, well, I would do this if I would, and it's like you're coming to a game that could get you and your team $1 million, and you're showing up 20 minutes before the motherfucker, bro. So I liked my preparation above the competition as well. You get what I'm saying? I was like, bro, your
100%.
body's just fucked up, Kel. Like, and you have to be honest exactly what it is. Not what these doctors tell you it is, that basically got you on an hour clock until the next dude comes in, aren't really always looking at it, because it's tough. It's a business for the doctors too, bro. They're not really like fully hooking you up, bro. They're
Yeah.
got you on a clock, bro. They need you to come back because they have dead seasons and, healthy seasons. So I was like, you have to tell yourself what you need to do. And then when I started doing that, my body's just been feeling good. So obviously I have to get my body is probably like 95, 97, I would say. Like an actual 95, 97,
That's
which
legit. That's
I don't
legit.
know if I ever played a season at 95, 90,
Yeah.
but then I think the next thing, because I haven't played at that rhythm, like, on stage or whatever. I've had some highlights, I've had some good games, but like Darius Adams consistency, I wouldn't say I've had that for my caliber of talent.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing from a business standpoint is probably putting myself in demand, which is, regardless of what my talent is, I'm not saying, oh, politics are against me, but I have to put myself in demand, like
Yeah.
where I want to play. Because some of these courts, dog, you can't just play anywhere.
That's a fact. Yeah. I want to talk about your writing. You mentioned it. I want to talk about your books, kind of your cartoon characters, like the rankings, like those are cool. Like how did that start? Do you draw those? What's the concept there? What's that all about?
It's a great question. The writing started like from heartbreak, like,
Mm-hmm.
and so in my head I was like I got cut. I was like, Kel, why'd you get cut? Are you better? Yes. I went through the list of like, what do you need to do to improve? And so like I was like, well, you couldn't figure out to be like motivated. You couldn't figure out to vibe. Like I had all these vibe issues. Like that was bothering me. That was bothering me. And so I was like, I need something to give me outside of thinking about, because like if you're on a team, you think about basketball, right? And you don't like the teammates, it just goes nowhere positive half the time if you're not really very, you know, I don't know how to describe it, but so I was just sitting there, and then I think a girl had upset me that I felt like I was doing a lot for, and I just wanted to tell her something, and I was up from jet lag, and I was like, oh, I could write like a book about that. And then I started, I was like, Kel, yeah, you don't even have the answer to that. So you can't be the guy who writes it. So then I thought of something I kind of had like an answer to. So I was like, oh shit, I could write like a basketball version of Entourage, right? Where there's this little character, he's got like his crew around him, his boy, and he goes through things like Entourage with like how they do with his movie roles,
Yep.
but basketball roles, and then the off the court stuff with that. And I thought if I tapped into, I feel like in America, a lot of the sports is what you do on the court and a little bit of like how you're endorsed and where your fucking name and face pops up to put into the masses. I felt like that could level up my rank, and I could, kind of, people could see me in a different light, just from just like what I think a player should look like. And then my player is going to probably be more similar to this character I create. And so that was kind of what stemmed it. And then I feel like it just motivates me. So when I come up with these characters and these stories and all this stuff, I do some stuff that's like very, very far removed from like our world, like a lot of science fiction and
Mm-hmm.
fantasy stuff like that. But the nature of the tone or the personality of it, like all has a sort of theme that like, I would like to see in our world, obviously, so like um like with the like our comics, like the comics we're doing with the art and the story now, I feel like it sort of tells the story of actually where the player is going to actually go. So the first one
Mm-hmm.
tells sort of what happened this past summer in a way, and then the next one's going to tell you exactly where we're going next, and maybe it comes out before it even happens, right? So I feel like if you hit on both of those, right, and take control of both the imaginative story you have in your head, it helps keep the track alive, and then it keeps you like inspired by yourself and not like all the outside stories. It's more
That's
for me,
what's up.
the outside.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that, man.
Yeah.
I like that. So before I let you go, I always like to do like a hot seat, just a little rapid fire Q&A, some random questions, some about basketball, some about life.
Okay.
All right, let's go right off the bat. Where did the name Stambi come from? How did that? What's the meaning behind that?
That's a good question. So I was living in this town called Montecatini. It's like probably 30, 40 minutes outside of Florence in Tuscany in Italy. That's like where all the good Italian, that's where, not the water side of Italy, but when you think of like countryside of Italy, like stereotypical, that's that area. So we're living in this area. And like I mentioned before, when my dad went and played somewhere that my mom wasn't interested in going, we would go to like other places around to just sort of vacation, stay there for a weekend or a day, quick trip, whatever. And so my mom ended up becoming friends with one of my brother's classmates' mothers. And she knew of like all like a lot of the hot spots in Italy that weren't like advertised and stuff like that. So there's this other place, I believe it's in Tuscany, not too far away. It's this town called Lucca. And Lucca has this wall, kind of like the Great Wall of China, but much, much smaller, but the same concept of a wall that, protects the town, right? And you can walk on top of it. It's like a tourist attraction for this town in Lucca. So we went there, and on the wall, like, there's traffic of people walking both directions and stuff. But they have like these little cement, little humps that come up from the ground, like cinder block sort of things, that you play Little Frogger and, like
Yeah.
you do like when you're a kid, like play lava and stuff with all that kind of stuff. So I was just like jumping over all of them, like kind of climbing on this wall, right? So my brother's classmate's mom, the lady who took us there, was like, "Oh my God, it's say un Stambi, say un Stambecco." So I'm like, "What is that?" And so basically in Italian, like a Stambecco is like this goat, right? And like the mountains. You ever see those videos of those mountain goats that climb those really steep walls, like those real
I
steep.
actually have.
So those ones that climb like the near, those are alpine ibexes in our language. So it's like a mountain goat, basically the the huge horns or whatever, and
Yeah.
we climb the wall. So we're on a wall, and I'm jumping around it. And so in her head, she's like, "Oh, you're like one of those little goats who jump around the wall." You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's like where the name comes from. We're on a wall.
Interesting.
I was like 6, 7. You get me? So she's like,
That's dope.
"Yeah, so I gotta make the impossible climb, dog."
That's dope. I like that.
That kind of lives with me, I guess.
I like that. All right.
Yeah.
What's your go-to basketball shoe?
Mm. Right now I'm playing in the Westbrooks, these lime green Westbrooks, but I think it's the KD tens, 9 10s are like probably I haven't come across them. They're like they're trying to rob me on goat form, so I'm not
Yeah.
there. They're clowning on that, but I used to have a hookup on that. I'll say the KD 10 is probably I think it's the KD 10 or 9 is probably my favorite one. But,
What's your favorite country you've ever played in so far?
uh, uh, mm, probably Greece. My dad's famous there, so like the people kind of like so when we turn up. Oh no, they turn up.
Yeah.
And I'm from there. I'll say Greece by far, bro. Like I don't know, like you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
is those people like because they it's such an old country that but now their language is so gutter. Like
Mm,
what's up, bro? Is basically like, what's up, asshole. Their language is more
got you.
you get me? They don't speak eloquently there. So like
Yeah.
everything is kind of like, what it is to them is really not fully what it is to me. So when you see
Yeah.
the spirit turn up, it kind of turns me up. But Argentina was like, I don't know, like that
Up
Argentina
there.
like turned me up too. Cause I don't know. Argentina turns me up too.
I like that.
I like both
What's
of them.
your favorite restaurant in Indy?
I don't go out to eat in Indy. Oh, but probably Boca. Probably Boca.
Boca? Oh, that's good. That's actually not bad. That's
Boca.
the Italian place, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yep.
Probably,
Okay. That's a little hidden gem right there.
yeah, 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 yeah. Probably
That's
Boca.
a hidden gem. All right, let's go. Mount Rushmore. So top four favorite NBA players. Doesn't have to be the best, but your Mount Rushmore.
My Mount Rushmore. I got Larry Bird on there 100%, dog. Like, I
That's a
don't know.
fact.
I was working out with the Patriots one time, like before training camp, right? So this is like, cause I'm more into what the player's thinking about than like
Yeah.
how he plays. Like, right? Like, I remember we were playing and I was off one game, right? And Paul was on the team. This is a while ago, bro. Larry was there, like Paul, shoot it every time. Right? Like, don't pass it to these weak ass niggas, right? And I was like, you got him on the team, Larry. You feel me? But he's like,
Yeah.
no, they weak. Like, you get me? And
Yeah.
I'm like, I just like that, bro. I just like the simplicity in that because being in an NBA room, you think it's this complex game. You got to give it to B and give it to C, and it's like,
Yep.
yo, Paul is way better than these dudes. Come down, like these dudes don't even know how to 1-2 into their shot and shoot it every time, dog. So
Yep.
I like Larry Bird in my NBA. Iverson's on there just because of I feel like if you're my age,
Yeah, he's a legend.
Iverson will make you feel something. Even though I don't think Iverson was ultimately all that good and considered like top, I guess 20. I don't have him there, but Iverson, I got Bird over Braun. Obviously, you give me a small forward. Let's not get it twisted. Jordan's on there. Yeah, so that's all. That's everyone, right? Bird, Iverson, Jordan. Who else? There's four on the
Who's
Mount
the
Rushmore.
fourth? Yeah, who's the fourth one?
Who's stone cold, bro? Like who's stone cold, man? I probably, if I'm honest, bro, if I'm gonna be honest, I gotta give it to Luka Doncic, dog. Got you.
Ooh, that's a good fourth one. That's a good fourth one. He's tough.
I have to give it to him, dude. I have to. Him
He's
saying he was at shoot around coming into our, we share the same arena as his team, and they're about to play the team we share the arena with. And so we were coming in for practice. He was on Real Madrid. They're just coming out for shoot around. So he's doing that shit you see him on TV, taking those shots from all over
yep,
the court, right? And I like dudes who have that free spirit and aren't real. Like, it's a game. Like,
yep,
if you can play, play. So he's like doing all that. All his teammates are a bit older, and they're all like, "Come on, Luca, vamos!" Like, let's get the fuck out of
yeah,
here. He was probably like 3/4 court from the rim, right? Launches it, cash, like, and he looked like he knew it was going in before he made it, bro. He looked at all those dudes and was like, "Hey, how about you guys like shut the f up, take your old asses and ice or something, dog?" Like,
yeah,
really. So I was like, if a dude like that at that age, just no problem talks to adults with what he's putting up, yeah, he's serious business,
yeah.
bro.
I
He's
like that.
yeah, he's serious business. Yeah, I got Luca. I'm sorry. I mean, right? Like, I don't know.
He's up there.
Everyone who's older than him, but I actually like a lot of the young. Like, I feel if I watch high school basketball, like if I watch a high school player, it gives me a better flow for a game than if I watch like a pro player. There's a certain freedom with the youth.
Yeah, yeah.
They're,
The freedom. Some of it's like a little bit of ignorance, but it's also like
because when you
they
fail,
don't, they don't, you don't know. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, I like that. I
I
like that.
like that.
I got Luca, Jordan, Iverson, and Bird.
And Bird. That's a good. I mean, that's a good four, and it's your favorite. You know what I mean? So it's like that's
So
nobody
Maravich,
can take that from you.
you could put Maravich if someone
Pistol
wants.
Pete as
Yeah,
the sub.
yeah, probably Maravich.
Tough.
That's what I don't know.
What's your all time favorite movie? I know you're a movie guy. What's your like just your all time favorite?
Mm. Probably I like all time. Man, there's a few, but probably Porco Rosso. Probably Porco Rosso. You seen it?
I actually have not.
It's like anime, bro. It's dude. It's cold, bro.
I gotta watch it.
This dude, he's a pig, but he's a pilot, and he just is a
Ah,
bounty hunter. And like when he's called to the scene, it's supposed to be a dove. So he's like, he just has like this charisma. He's not really worried about any, like, he's a pig, right? So he's not like this attractive guy, but he has this
right.
charisma that like people just, like, and he's, I don't know, probably that. I like that new Spider-Man that came out this year.
That was fire. That was a great ass movie, bro.
I
Like
just saw it like a few days ago. Oh
that
my
is
god, the soundtrack's crazy too.
soundtrack's crazy, storyline's crazy. All the Spider-Mans leading up to it are insane. Like
Yeah.
I've been getting into that. The more my kids get into it, I'm like, these are some really fucking good movies, bro. Like,
Well, I have to ask you a question, Doug.
what's up?
Because this is how I feel about you, bro. Because obviously, I met you in high school through like the Foleys and all those guys, right? So
Yep.
I always felt like you kind of like, I don't know, bro, because there's just so many people that cross my path at that age. But I felt like you kind of you're a rememberable person. You get what I mean by that? Like,
Yep.
especially like in high school, there's so many people doing the same of everything. Like three
Yeah.
people are really one guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I felt like you were your only guy. And then I remember running into you with Rainer at that gym on when you were in Fishers. Do you
Oh
remember that?
my God.
You remember that?
Yes.
Dude,
I do.
because I was with Rainer. Rainer was rebounding for me like every day before I went to summer league with the Pistons, right? And so Rainer was like, let's go check out this gym. Justin's got this gym. I'm like, Justin Ochoa? I'm like, I know him. I'm like, I don't remember. I didn't know if you knew me, but I came in there and you remembered me or whatever. And then I remember
Yes.
being like, whatever. You're like, what have you been up to? I'm like, bro, I'm about to go to summer league with the Pistons and shit like that, you know? And then you had that gym, like I just started this gym, da, da, da. And then like the next week or something, you had like Lance Stevenson and stuff like that. And I was like, shit, this is the basketball trainer guy right here, dog. So I was like,
Yeah,
that's crazy, you know? And then
bro.
like after that, I just had my eye on it. And I was like, man, this dude's shit's growing like crazy. So I was like, I remember just Rainer took me there and I was like, damn, that's crazy. I just
Bro, I remember that. That was like probably 2013, 2014, wouldn't it have been? Maybe
2015.
20. That was yeah, I actually remember that, and
2015.
I don't even know how I know Rainer.
Yeah, sure.
I don't even know. Like bro, life is crazy, man. Look at life is crazy.
Yeah, I was like, damn, bro. Then it was just like, I don't know. That kind of, I don't know. It kind of motivated me. You know what I'm saying? Just because I felt like when I got to that gym that you're at, it was like, I think it was in the morning too. So it wasn't like I wasn't in the space of thinking about like what someone's clients is or something, but it was more like,
Yeah.
so my age, it's taking the path of being like an actual trainer. You know what I mean? Like I felt like everyone beforehand that I had sort of came across was a little bit, for the most part, older, like
Yeah.
military vibe. Were super
Yeah.
lifting Goldberg style. And I had came across like another young guy who was with the Bulls. So I'm like, man, like Justin's taking that young approach to do it now.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy.
yeah, that shit was dope.
Last question here. The people want to know. They want to know what's the inspiration behind the greatest hair in the sport of basketball.
The hair.
Yep. What's the inspiration? Because I love it, and everybody who I told that I was having you on was like, we want to know the story, like the backstory about just the style, the like how what made you wake up and be like, yo, I'm about to kill him with this shit today.
Yeah. This is.
It's phenomenal.
So I used to be like a real like haircut guy growing up. Like my mom made sure I had a haircut every time. And then like Iverson, bro, I wanted braids, bro. I wanted braids, never got them. Mom was like, we're in the suburbs, dog. It's not you're not gonna be him. Right. This is at a time where braids were just like this thing, right? So I'm like, okay. So then I don't know. I felt like no one at Cathedral noticed the difference if a guy had.
Oh,
right, bro. I'm not gonna keep it. I just didn't feel it, bro. Maybe it existed at Purdue. I didn't feel it, bro. I was like, whatever shoes, whatever hair I got going on, it don't matter, bro. You feel me? So that kind of became my identity a little bit, which I'm not the proudest of, but whatever, because my mom did raise someone to keep themselves together, and I was just like, it's not getting me anything, mom. Like,
yeah.
Not getting me. So that's like my natural feeling behind hair. So actually, when I started like grooming myself back again better, I'm like, oh shit, I think I'm kind of like balding, bro. I think I'm balding a little bit. My hairline was going back. It's just I'm like, man, I got a few cuts left, dog. Like, what can I do here, right? What can I do here? So I'm like, I don't know. And the first time it was like COVID. So I was like, cool, I don't have to go to a barber anyway because of COVID. It's like understandable, right? This guy,
Yep.
oh, COVID, I don't want a haircut, right? Really, if it wasn't, So as COVID progressed, my hair, my beard started getting crazy. And I'm like, all right, Kel, you can't go play with this shit. You got to do something good. So I was just looking up styles, and this like black soccer player had it. And I was like, okay, that's a good haircut because if I get the hair, the afro I had, I was like, if I push it forward, that's gonna make my hairline cover. It's gonna cover my hairline, bro. Like, you feel what I'm saying? It's gonna cover my hairline so quick, bro. Like, I'm gonna be chilling, bro. And then I get to flick it around. Like, I don't care, right? Because if I cut it low, like a good classic cut, bro, I'm not gonna have a solid hairline, bro. So
Yep.
in the case of a guy who has a nice, chill, even all around low cut, a nice honorable haircut that no one could judge you for, right? I have balding spots here, dog. So it's not gonna really help my case. So I was like, I can bring the hair forward and it helps you with your hairline. That's really it. Like
I
you
love
don't
it. I love it. I'm
you
a
know
fan.
everyone tries to roast me, but I'm like, look, if I do something like more normal, like Darius came up to me, he's like, get braids. I'm like, bruh, my braids, like it's not gonna be the same as you, bro. And then I have like a bald spot from birth that's like already there, bro. So I'm like, hell no, nah, bro. So that's when people say like, oh, it's out there. I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to save my hairline without having to go to like
Bro,
or one of those countries right now.
I ain't even mad at you, man. I love it. I love it. I appreciate you jumping on here with me, man. Let the people know where they can find you on social media.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I have Stambi W on Instagram, and then just Stambi.com is my website, I guess. But we'll so we're gonna put all our comics out, you know. So
Yeah.
we got a new one coming out. We've been working on that's kind of got me excited. You know, I'm telling you, people. I mean, I would tell more players to get a comic about yourself. It'll make you want to do certain things on the court to really push that story. You know,
I
so
love it.
yeah,
That's a good idea, man. Hey, well, I appreciate you jumping on here, man. This was a blast. It's good catching up with you, man. Appreciate it.
you as well, man.